Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm shooting a couple videos today. I'm trying to be proactive in 2021. Y'all know that. Y'all like my background? This is my background for my intro video and I love it. But for today's video, we are going to be exploring slow and also fast and furious, and when you are trying to lift hair or dye hair, move it up, make it lighter. Hey guys, today's a whole new day. My camera died from last time after I did the intro. So hey, let's continue. So this video today, cutting straight to the point, I'm going to explore how fast or how slow people should consider when they are dyeing hair. So maybe I'll give an example in a scenario in a salon where somebody comes to you and wants to get their hair bleach lighter and their hair is not that strong. You might consider, based on your experience and what you've been doing with hair bleaching, might consider to do two to three processes based on what the scenario is, of course. And then you figure out that maybe you do it slow versus you probably gonna plop on 40 volume on somebody's hair or 50 volume. So this experiment is kind of to show that. I will be using 10 and 20 volume, and I'm going to show that, and also 50 volume, where I will be dyeing black hair, and we'll see how fast and slow, how the fast and slow processes works in this particular scenario. In between my slow process, I'll be using Oplex 1 and 2. Apply that, dry the hair, and then reapply my slow developer, which is 10 and 20 in this scenario, so we can see how the Olaplex will help it when we are doing the slow process. So if you're interested in stuff like this, home hairstylist, you already know how it be. Let's work together and see how this works. I've never done this also before, and I've never actually ever used 50 volume. I feel like I don't need to, so this should be interesting. So if you're interested, don't go away and let's keep going. My lightener of choice today is, you guys already know if you follow my channel that I really like Reckon Flash Lift Bonder Inside. And the mixing ratio of this bleach to developer is 1:1 and 1:2. I'm going to be using 1 part of developer to 1 part of the lightener. And the processing time is up to about 50 minutes. So I will be using this bleach for this experiment. Alright guys, let's cut to the chase. I have my 10 volume. I'm mixing it up real quick. This I can't take too long. And go ahead and I'm applying, right? I have Olaplex 1 in here. And I'm going to apply it really quickly. Now when I use these saran wrap, they are kind of loud, but you get the feeling. You know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this application really quickly. So this is a 10 volume. Well, like maybe I didn't mix it up really well, but it seems pretty even of a mixture. So we'll move into the 20. Same thing here. I'm mixing it up really quickly. Now, of course, you know from my previous video that the 10 is going to work a little bit slower than the 20 is going to work. So this is me mixing up the 20. And I am going to hurry up and apply. So there you go. I'm doing the 20 application. Turn it around and then apply to the back side. So the 20 should develop a little bit more faster than the 10 should. Okay, now moving up to the 50 volume. Now this should be interesting to see what happens in this scenario, how fast this would work within the 50-minute time period that I'm trying to let this work. There you go. Okay. Okay. I'm going to cover this up with another saran wrap, and I'm going to let it all process for. I wanted to make a correction here and emphasize on the processing times. For the first process for both the 10 and the 20 volume, I processed for 50 minutes. The second process for both the 10 and 20 volume, I processed for 50 minutes. And that one process for the 50 volume developer, I processed for 40 minutes. I wanted to emphasize on this and make sure that it's clear how much timing I use for all the swatches. This is the second time around where I'm applying the 10 volume and 20 volume. So I'll let it sit on here again for the maximum about 50 minutes. And then I will rinse out and we can see how it looks like again with the second application. These are how the swatches look like after they were done processing. For the first process, the 10 volume looked slightly darker than the 20 volume as expected, but then it didn't really show here in the swatches on this clip. The second process, the 10 volume, you can visibly see that it's darker than the 20 volume. So the 20 volume developer did a little bit more of a pushing to get the swatches to be lighter. And also, even though the timing was the same, and also I applied Olaplex in between the two processes, the 20 volume got lighter. This is the 50 volume swatch by itself. I processed this for 40 minutes as stated before, and it's the lightest of all the swatches, and pretty much it took the shortest amount of time, but it was the lightest. Now, if I'm comparing the 20 volume process 2 to the 50 volume process 1, which was just one process, you realize the 50 volume was still lighter than the 20 volume, which to say that the 50 volume developer had more push and so it was lighter. Now, if you're comparing the process 1 of the 10 volume to process 2 of the 10 volume, you realize that the process 1 of the 10 volume is slightly darker than the process 2 of the 10 volume, which is to say that now in the second process, the swatches had a little bit more work done to it, so it got lighter. If you're comparing process 1 of 20 volume to process 2 of 20 volume, you realize is that you can tell in this clip that the first process it was darker and the second process it was lighter, which is to say that the longer you bleach or a couple times, you will get your hair to be lighter. I put everything together so you can see the vast differences between the 10 and the 20 volume between the first and the second process. I wanted you to see how much lighter the second process got compared to the first process. And also I added the 50 volume swatch, which I processed only for 40 minutes and in just one process. So this all put together tells you that you can either go slow and take your time to process somebody's hair and get the person to be a lighter state, or you can go pretty fast, like in the 50 volume developer, and get to where you need to be at faster. But then it might cost you certain things like breakage of your hair or messing up the integrity of your hair because you're going it too fast based off of what is happening in that scenario at that particular time with your client's hair. I hope you followed my steps and explanation and voiceover thing that I did, and you understand that basically it's not necessarily which developer that you pick, but I guess in the scenario in which you are in, basically if the hair has a little bit of has more strength, slightly damaged or really damaged, then you decide which one to use in what scenario. Most of the time for me at the salon, I use 20 volume. I feel like it's perfect. It's kind of in between. It's not too low, but it's not super high, and get the person to be able to get the process to be able to a little bit slow down so that I can get to where I need to be at. Every once in a while, when I do a 20 volume process or 20 volume developer, I would, depending on where I'm trying to go, I might do two processes, and again, it's based off of how much strength the hair has. So you can go to Sally. So if you're a stylist and you decide to use 50, it's based off of kind of like how experienced you are and what is happening at that particular time. I always talk about the scenario in which you are picking the type of bleach or the type of developer that you're going to use for a process. But as you can tell, the 50, of course, worked really fast, and it was just one process, and sometimes you can just do that to get to where you need to be faster. So most of the time when I get the questions about which developer should I use and in what scenarios, you got to understand that they all can get you to where you need to be. It's just based off the speed and then also the integrity of the hair in the scenario. So I hope you like this fast and furious versus slow process that I did. I feel like it's kind of emulating the first video, or it's follow up of the first video I did, but this gives you a little bit more explanation as I did the two processes, so you can see that the more of the processes that you do, the lighter your hair gets. So when you are bleaching your hair and you say, my hair got orange and I want to get to ashy or whatever color that you're trying to get to, which is lighter, all you have to do is just bleach again. But then, is your hair healthy enough for you to bleach again? You got to think about that before you put another set of bleach on your hair. And maybe you don't have to do it on the same day. Maybe you can tone your hair out, let it breathe a little bit, give it a little bit of time for your hair to recover from that high chemical process that you did. Especially, let's say you use a 30 or 40 in your initial application. You might want your hair to breathe out a little bit before you go in there and kill your cuticle out. So I hope this explanation works for you guys. I love doing these videos, and I know you guys love watching these videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification, and let's get this party rolling. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.